I want to talk about hope during negativity. I recently stated that I'm taking a break from content creation, video creation, and that is still happening regardless of any positives that happen because I have my books to fulfill and I have to motivate myself to do that. Maybe once I'm making progress on them and I'm got a better routine, then I can integrate maybe other things as well and maybe get back to doing some videos. Um, So a few things have happened where I've been a bit down. Um, Almost like I'm ready to settle back into an ordinary life rather than have high ambitions. It's like you can achieve your goals and then you wait. You can eventually just get on with life, and then if things happen, it happens. That's kind of where I'm up to. Leave it up to serendipity. But I put a lot of time and effort into a lot of things, and don't often see the rewards from it. But it's still I'm very goal orientated, and I do it for more than just me. It's to help people. For instance, there's I would call it viral. There's viral books on TikTok, and I'm not. I know why things happen. I'm not trying to sort of reduce the content of someone's book. I haven't read it, but I know why people keep talking about it all the time, and it's because they do that commission thing. So, for instance, I've had TikTok a few times send me like a notification. I don't know how they know about my books, but they just say sell your books on TikTok store marketplace, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want people to read my books because they want to read my books, not because they're going to make profit because someone's promoting it because they're going to make money off the back of it. I've never wanted that fake reviews, fake marketing. To each their own. But what happened was this book, for instance, it kept coming up, and then I just looked in the comments, and like one woman just put in there, a book isn't going to. It was either heal or solve. It was like a book isn't going to solve like 30 years of trauma or something. I thought mine would, but I didn't comment because it's not for me. I'm not prepared. I'm not that person. I'm not going to promote my work on someone else's content. So I just left it be, and I thought if they come across my content one day, maybe it'll help. I mean, I don't know. My books would help. It's not just one; it's many, and it's about drilling it in. And I know it will help people overcome trauma, it'll give them perspective on life, and give them reasons to sort of like go after their dreams and sort of like have a reinvention of self. But you have to want to heal, and I think if you're just going to be self-defeating, anytime there's a chance to heal, you can't. It takes you have to want to. I'm always self-reflecting, and I'm looking at situations in my life, and I said recently, like, what's going to happen here? I'm going to go back to warehouse forklift work for now. It's going to give me an income because even if my books went viral for whatever reason and they started selling, it still takes me like, depending on when they start selling, usually it'll take you at least over like a month and a half to 2 months before I even see royalties. Um, that's how it works. I don't see the royalties to the end of the following month. So if the book was selling at the beginning of this month, for instance, any month, let's say it started selling like crazy at the beginning of the month, I won't see anything that month. It'll be the following end of the following month. So there's still a period. If you're struggling now, you're going to be struggling for a period. It's like winning the lottery, isn't it? You've got this golden ticket, but until you actually receive it in your bank account, you still have to cope with you going through. So let's say you don't have food in the home and you don't have all these things, you're still going to starve until that money's coming in, no matter how much it's coming. So we have to get on with life. So I've put on a few applications, and it's been quite positive, to be totally honest. I was a bit shocked. Straight away, I had a phone call. Like I did it last night on Sunday night, and then Monday I woke up and I had a missed call by like before 9 a.m. And it was an agency job, but these agency ones can lead to permanence. And then there was another one that said, we'd like to invite you to the next stage of the application process, which was like an online more questions. Um, that one didn't pay particularly well. I'm still putting things forward. So I'm applying for better paying jobs and paying for some because I'm pragmatic. I know this is going off a little bit, but I'm just trying to show the positives really, and the fact that it can seem all down and out, but we can change our circumstances. So I'm aware that I can go further away from home, and maybe there's higher paying jobs, but then I've got to consider how much it costs to travel. So effectively, let's say it's £1 an hour more, and that means over 40 hours a week. That's £40. Of course, it's going to get taxed as well. So it depends if it's going to cost £40 in fuel for the week to get there. Then even if it's like £1.50 more, it'll be making more sense to take £1.50 less locally, not travel so far, and do something that just pays a little less. But innately, I'm also aware, which I've known most of my life, is that those that pay the least usually treat you the worst. And I know that. So if anyone's prepared to just pay minimum wage, they won't budge on it. Okay, maybe their finances are tight, but most of the time they're tight. Most of the time they don't care about your well-being. They don't care about how you have to survive out of work. But also they'll expect a lot more of you in work. It's a really, really manipulated situation. So it's always about valuing yourself and say, I deserve more than this, and I want to be treated better. That's how that works. So like I've said, I've applied for quite a few, and I applied for some more yesterday. Now, I've outgrown this stuff. I shouldn't even be needing to do this, but, you have to wait for the universe to catch up and all that. Um, I'm just trying to show really that, like, because it's getting quite heavy. I had a bill come in and I looked at it and went, holy shit, am I going to pay that? I literally can't afford to pay that. That's outrageous. Even if it's like repaid monthly, I don't have the resources to maintain that. And that really annoyed me. It did, because I just thought it's just outrageous how I'm having to live at the moment. But I just innately know if I jump into one of these positions, everything flips. So sometimes you can't just wait for the dream to happen. You have to just get on. So anyway, something quite remarkable. I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. The other thing, of course, I talked about rebuilding my credit. I've literally been approved for a credit card, £500 initial credit, and I was like, this is great because, like, to be honest, for years, and you learn from your mistakes. I only had a credit card when I was in my, I think, like 20, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't realize the importance of making sure that you definitely don't miss payments and things like that, because I didn't realize how hard it'll be to get one later if you mess it up. It's a naivety, and it's took me all this time. I'm now 42. It's like, goddamn. So I intend to obviously protect this thing and make sure I do what I do right, and I'm rebuilding positively, because these are things that will help you in an emergency, and I think it's really important that we educational finances is something that's sorely missed, or at least it was for my life, especially in school. So anyway, recently I've been losing a bit of, like, quite a lot of hope, really, a lot of interest, because I think people can obviously have an opinion of you one way or another, but me personally, I do everything just to whatever I'm supposed to do. So it's almost like a fulfilling a purpose, and if I can help people, then I will. But I'm also prepared to let things go. So even though I have lofty ambitions and I feel I should be achieving them, and I don't understand sometimes why it doesn't happen, I'm also prepared to live a very modest life. Like I can make peace with it. It's fine. I won't. I can't. The reality is, you can't regret an outcome, but you can regret the choices you make. I don't regret the choices I make, and I can't control an outcome. So effectively, I've put time and effort into writing all my books. I'm going to put an effort into writing the rest this year. I've done so many videos. Now, I can't make the videos get watched. I can't make people like the videos. I can't make people buy my books. I can't make them read them. I can't make anyone do anything. So from my point of view, what I've done, I can't have a regret about. And I'm happy. I'm at peace with that. So if it doesn't bring me success, then that's fine. It's fine. I did something in a period that I consider really impressive. Like, I impressed myself. That's great. Um, so I'm like, now this is my spiritual side going to come out now, and it kind of has to. Um, because I have been saying to the universe, like, I'm finished now. Like, I'm not doing all this shit. I don't want that. I'm just going to live normal. I'm just going to go for normal life now. I'm not waiting for things to keep having my life messed up. I've sacrificed a lot. This is the conversations I have. Is that I've sacrificed a lot, and there's been nothing in return. My life's been harder than it should. It just seems impossible, no matter how much I try, and it's not fair. And they know my injustice is the worst thing to me. So if I think things should be reciprocal. If you do things for the best intentions and you've sacrificed to do it, then surely there should be some reward. I'm not asking for, like, wealth beyond measure, but something tangible, something to help my life. My life shouldn't be so isolated. It shouldn't be so poor. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm just going to go and do normal shit, and I'm just doing this because I can control that and it makes sense. And then something quite wonderful happened, and something happened in the past. Wait, I'm trying to think what happened in the past now. Oh, recently, someone actually, before that, back into this, I was ready to give up on a connection, a potential romantic connection. I was like, I had enough. I was like, I don't like being disrespected, and I saw it as a disrespect. So I was like to the universe, like, I'm done now. Even if they approach me, I'm not even interested. And I kid you not, within days, like literally days, like a couple of days, they sent me a message, and we talked for maybe a week or two, and now we haven't talked again since. It's like, I don't know. I think they've got their own things to sort out. But at the same time, I'm losing or lost interest at this point anyway. So I'm like, not bitter. It's just you do you. I'm going on with my life. But it was kind of weird because I said, "What made you reach out?" And they said, "I don't know. Your name just popped into my head, and I thought I'd better talk." And we hadn't spoke for like over a year. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm making it clear to the universe I'm not doing this anymore, and it's almost like an emergency situation. They've had to get that person to interact. So I did a video talking about there was a specific one, misunderstanding. I can't remember what the exact title was now. But I also did the one saying I'm leaving, and of course I'm telling the universe that I've had enough. And out of the blue, literally, I just checked my emails, and someone's sent me an email, and it's a really, really long, in-depth email, apologising for how they behaved in a certain period, um, and explaining how much I've helped them through my content. And it was like, because I said that to the universe, I'm like, if it's not helping anybody, what's the point? It's like this is a waste of my time. It's just a joke, you know. And now the universe has sent someone to show me that it is helping people because people don't show me, and I don't. If you don't see it or feel it, it's like, what's the point, you know? Um, I'm going to share, but I'm going to try and take out some of what they're saying because I don't want their personal information shared. Because I was going to send them an email directly, and I still might do that separately. 'Cause I'm trying to think how to handle this, but I think it's important to give people hope. I think, and show people that you know maybe you don't feel noticed, but people do notice you. You know. So in this situation, this person had um, sort of messaged me privately through they see my content on TikTok at the time. I think it's the same person, and they felt that we were soulmates, like we were supposed to be together. And I'm like, I don't think so, because I get a lot of signs in my own life. I know what's for me, what's not, and all signs were leading to a specific person. And even to this day, it's still leading to that same person, even though I'm fed up with the connection at this point. But sometimes you can be fed up for a period, and maybe then you're together for the rest of your life. It's just it's the story, I guess. Who knows? I'm not putting much emphasis on that at the moment. But anyway, so this person would consider me their soulmate, and I was like, I'm not your soulmate. I think I'm just giving you maybe an idea of what your soulmate could be like. But they were quite intense about it, and I thought, oh, so I think I blocked them in the end. And I did a video recently talking about that, and I didn't do that to try to maybe antagonize anybody or something. I don't think I said it in a really too big negative way. I think I just mentioned it, and I think that's triggered them. But they've come back and apologized. Now, it wasn't saying anyone really needed to apologize over, but it was. I find it quite sad that it weighed on them that much for a long period. But it hasn't really lingered on me. It was just something I said within the context of something because there was relevance. So yeah, I think that's sad, isn't it? With people carrying maybe a burden. Yeah. So anyway, so from my point of view, there's no animosity because it wasn't that big a deal, but it was just a bit strange of a situation. I had to set a boundary quite firm with that because if you're not going to heed the sort of the warning the first time, then I have to set it. So I'm going to show. I'm not show because I think it'd be disrespectful. I'm going to show that it is an email. I'm not showing the email. I'm not going to put it all constantly on the thing because I think that's disrespectful. Because I need to, if there's any personal identifiers, I need to sort of take that out as I speak. So it just says thank you and an apology. And that's where we're going to go. So now you can understand I'm reading from this. I'm not keeping it up because I think that's rude. I've got to be careful because I really don't want them to feel like I'm exposing them in some way, because it potentially is. And it's really not for the wrong intention, though. It's really for me to show people. I mean, because if I just take only certain parts, it's going to look very fabricated. I just want to say it how it is without giving identifiers. And it was very sincere. It was really nice. Towards the end, they did talk about money blocks, and I get that, but I feel like there's a certain purpose to the reason I'm suffering. Sometimes my suffering isn't, although I consider it unfair, a lot of the time it's because if I was given the things I want now, I wouldn't learn the lesson in hardship because I wouldn't experience that hardship. So then I wouldn't be able to help people as much in the future when they need my support. And I know that's roughly what it is. It's like these are lessons for other people that I'm going through to help them. It's a frustrating thing for me to experience, They're effectively light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing. And sometimes you have to really drill it in. So anyway, so it says, "Hi Stephen, it's been a while. Reaching out today to firstly apologise for my foolish behaviour. I've come a long way on my healing journey since we had any communication via TikTok and email. The only thing that stopped me from reaching out sooner is quite frankly sheer embarrassment. I choose to make my personal page private as I felt ones who needed to see it, what I had, shared in terms of my journey already, and started up another TikTok account following my true path. In simply sharing and hopefully inspiring others with my creative work and processes, as I feel this is what I'm meant to do in this lifetime. That's really beautiful, isn't it? Because I get like that sometimes. Sometimes I think I just want to make everything private. I've actually thought about, yeah, literally not hiding, but like just removing. Well, it is hiding, I guess, but I feel like just hiding most of my videos. I just go because sometimes I just want to close it all and go. It's a simpler life. Like I say, people have seen it already, but sometimes I think, there might be one new person that needs to see something. But anyway, I'm sorry if I put you in an awkward, uncomfortable position. I hope that by reaching out now, it doesn't have the same impact. I've really got to make sure because I can't read too much in advance to know what's going to be said. I feel it's important to let you know that my admiration and respect for you has never faltered. I appreciate everything you have shared on your journey so far. I've learned and healed a lot from watching your content. And whilst I'm open to other opinions and perspectives on certain topics, I believe the reason I was drawn to you in the first place was because I felt I knew you on a deeper level. Sometimes watching your content is like watching a male version of myself, only with better communication skills. It genuinely bothers me that you are not yet reaping the rewards of your work. The real push for me reaching out today in response to your YouTube video on Misunderstood, an honest insight into the thoughts of an independent man. I recognise that I may have come across as mental when I reached out a couple of years back, and you had every reason to believe so. I can only apologise for my behaviour. In all honesty, I was mental to have romanticised anything between us. I am well aware I allowed my judgment to be clouded by fantasy and make-believe. It's no shame, however, that you inspired me in that sense. I think there's a quote here, I'm not sure. No, this is about them personally, and I don't want to sort of say anything there. Wait a minute. Oh, actually, this is nice. After coming out of a long-term relationship just recently, I realise I'm happier being on my own right now. That's not to say I'm closing myself off to friendship or collaboration. However, I just don't want my growth to be hindered in any way right now. I'm in a period of expansion, feel very positive about what life will bring, focusing on what I want and my goals, being true to my free-spirited nature, being creative. They were talking. This is where they went a bit talking about the thing, and I get it because some people are really into that, like positivity with the like mindset in terms of like if you've got a negative attachment to money and things like that, and I get that, but I don't really follow it too much because I sort of know my mindset around things, and I know it's spirit just teaching me lessons with other things, and doors have to open. So if a big door's got to open, things have to sort of line up. And I've always had signs that March is your breakthrough. This is a big year. But of course, it's like, I think when you're about to have your breakthrough, everything feels like it's crushing down as well. So there is that. So there will be a miracle at some point. It'll just come out of nowhere and you'll be like, holy shit. Because it's ASAP, because it got so bad before that. that's literally, really. But anyway, so it says, to get to the point of this email is a small gesture of gratitude of your kindness in the past. Your advice when I first started out on TikTok a few years back. I would like to offer a couple of ideas that could potentially help you. I just purchased one of your books, Find Your Peace to Save Your Soul, as I wasn't in a position to do so till now. Looking forward to reading some of your work. Also like to support where I can. So talk about frequency with books. I'm not really going to go into too much with these because it's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 books. I will maybe have a little look just to see if they're of interest. So I'll just go to there now. As to not waste any more of your time, I continue to wish you every success in the future. P.S. I have certainty in your success. We'll be celebrating your achievements when they happen. I mean, how beautiful is that? That was nice. Considering, like, yesterday I was really low. Like, I was ridiculously low. I mean, I got on with the day in the end, and I was you. I'm a strong character, even if I'm pissed off beyond belief, and I feel the universe has caused me an immense injustice. Like, it's unfair. Like I just because I do, and I say that I say if anyone did half of what I've done, they would have been really successful by now. So find the logic in me struggling. It doesn't make sense, you know. Um, and that's why I say this has been really unfair. This life so far. I'm 42, and when do I get my breakthrough? When do I get a nice, happy part of life? You know, because when you look through, it's like it's been a really heavy life the whole way. Not many smiles. Um, Not really. And it's definitely not for long periods. And I think a lot of people go through that too. Um, So it does get a bit frustrating, doesn't it? But we've got to have bigger goals than just the superficial, of course. And everyone's going through their journey, their healing journey. So even something like a relationship, for instance, you might have to wait for someone to finish all their life lessons because maybe it takes two people who have been through a lot to truly understand um, that most of the things other people seek is just pointless. Same way, the person that just sent that message just said there that they're going to take time to be alone, because they don't want someone interfering with what their progress and what they're achieving and their happiness and things. And it's exactly, you'll know when you're ready to introduce someone, and your boundaries will be higher, and you'll have higher moral like thingy expectations. You know, you won't just let anyone enter now because you're elevating, and it's really beautiful. But like I say, you know, the plan for me still is to take a break from content creation because it's too tempting for me to keep being on front of the camera and not work on the book. And there's every reason the book then doesn't exist. So sometimes it does take a level of sacrifice. So I don't leave with so much as a heavy heart now, or such a deep frustration. I think I've always said that, you know, you can sit there and say, oh, unless I'm helping a million people, it's not worth it. That's not the case at all. If I know I'm helping people, that's enough for me. And I think to have helped inspire them in some way and been a positive influence, then I think even just that, just one individual, I think it's good to know that, and that's good for me. Now, inevitably, they may outgrow my content. That's part of the healing journey. You know, we don't stay gravitating. I've had that my journey. You know, there's been people that I've looked up to, been inspired by, and I outgrow the content because I don't need it anymore. That's not to say they're no longer good at what they do or I'm above them in some way. It's just it's no longer part of my journey. It's like I'm released to go on to the next phase. And this person may do that too. They may have needed something that I'm giving in a period. And then they go off and sail off and have their other experiences. And I think there's something quite beautiful about that, to be totally honest. To have a contribution throughout the journey in the same way other people have contributions to me, in the same way they just have, you know? It's like I've literally gone from feeling really irritated to feeling far more peaceful. And it's nice that they took the time to do that. You know, they didn't have to. That was a really long email. When I opened the email up, I was like, "This, Jesus, this is a lot." But it's nice that someone felt comfortable enough to finally to get things off their chest. You know, and again, that probably gives them peace. So yeah, but yeah, for me personally, like when I talk about what I want, I really do want financial freedom now. I've had too much poverty for too long. I've sacrificed a lot for my books, and whilst I don't regret it, it's been incredibly hard, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's not sustainable because I could cope another decade like it if I felt I should, but I don't feel like it's fair. And like I said, injustice is everything to me. So when I think something's unfair, I will take action in my own life to make it fair. So to make it fair, I'm bringing in money, baby. I'm making money and I'm going to enjoy myself. And I deserve that. If it's not going to come from what I've done up to date, I'll make sure it happens from something else. So like I say, I'm looking at warehouse forklift roles. I'm trying not to jump into the first one that offers me a role. I've been offered, I'm not saying offered, but one that got back to me straight away. It was lunchtime to 8 p.m. At first you're thinking, that's great. And I thought, that's great. Because I thought, to be honest, you don't have to worry so much about being late for work or getting up late. You know what I mean? You can just get up whenever you want. That's nice. But I thought, to be honest, on a rotational basis, 12 to 8 would be nice. I don't really like 2 till 10. I hate the way you finish so late. But I think a 12 till 8 is nice. But to be stuck with that constantly, it's like that just, you lose your whole evening. How do you go for dinner? You know, what do you do for dinner? If is there a canteen there? And even if there is, I've got to have dinner at work every day. You know, I started looking at it thinking, this is going to irritate me. I think, you know, and I don't want to come home and do dinner. You don't want to live on takeaways. So how is your life going to be? And sometimes you have to look at that side of things. Me personally, as much as I hate getting up early, I hate it because I can stay up quite late, and it really can feel. In past, I've had jobs where I've gone into work like with 2 or 3 hours sleep. People didn't believe me at all. But you can see I'm knackered. I'll be up till 2 in the morning and I've got work at 6. And it's like, you ain't. I was like, I have. I'm just drinking coffee, mate. And it's not a good habit. But I do like to be honest, when I'm doing traditional work, I like to just get out of bed and go, just get on with it. And then it frees you up for the rest of the day. But I'm trying to be flexible. So if something requires shift work, I'll consider it. If something requires nights, consider it. Not ideal because I've done nights before. To be honest, it can burn you out. And you think sometimes you've got to think long term. Something might pay more today, and it might be like, this. I'll sacrifice. But how long are you going to sacrifice for? Do you really want to have to keep going in and out of jobs? And it's like sometimes it's good for different skills. Um, I want to talk about a success story before we wrap up here, actually, because my nephew, he's I can't remember, I don't know how old he is, to be totally honest. I'm going to say 23. I don't know, 24, 23. I don't know. You always think they're young. He's probably older than that now. Well, early 20s, mid 20s. Who knows? But he's always back and forth. So, like, his dad relocated near me, but still distance from me. And his mum lives in our hometown. So he keeps one moment he's like back in. I relocated in 2020, so he come and stayed with me for a period because there's more jobs where I am, and he stayed for like a few months, and then he gets homesick and shit, so he's gone back to his mum. Then he's gone. My brother relocated, and he went and relocated to him. Then he went back to his mum. Then he went and stayed at my mum's, and now he's decided to go back to his dad. And I'm like, you need to settle though at some point because you can't. You keep doing this, your life's always unsettled. It's not good for you. It's not good. You need to find out where you want to do and what you want. So he's applied. He got his forklift recently, which made me relicense mine. So I have different forklifts though. He's never really done them. He's just got the license for a training scheme. Whereas I have experience for a long time with different ones. But we got very fortunate, and I'm trying to explain to him like just keep don't waste money though just because you have it, because you can be frivolous and lose it. And don't think there's unless the job's terrible. Like if the job's obviously don't stay in a toxic environment. But this job could be really good for him. Like in my area, for instance, the money isn't great. In the UK, wages are shit. It just is. But to be honest, our cost of living isn't quite as high as America. So there's different things. But overall, in here, we're looking at like maybe £12, say £13 an hour, I guess. Some jobs even £11 shit. I don't know. But it's like like I said, if you pay minimum, it's not going to be a good environment. So I'm looking at jobs around about 40, some up to about £14, £15 an hour. There's a couple of jobs that were 32 grand a year, 34. I was like, that'd be nice. Because I know my bills, and that actually is nice for me. So like, I can do that. But I might have to take a job that pays less. So whatever, at this point. But he got quite lucky. Like a job local to him where he's going to be. He applied before he moved. He just had another interview and he's got the job. And it's, I think, nearly £16 an hour. And it's like, what the hell? And they're going to train him on different forklifts as well. So although I've done them, he'll learn them. And he'll be in his own little environment. There's obviously some weird shifts involved with that, but I thought if you get on with it, that's a good money, but just don't blow it so much because he likes takeaways too much. He has a tendency, he'd have the tendency to book taxis constantly to get to and from, and then get takeaways all the time. And then that just burns through any sort of like money you've earned, really. The benefit to it is just silly because you've got no control. And that's what I've tried saying. Like, don't be too silly with it. Because that money that would have gone to that, effectively, if you had a takeaway every day and it cost you £20 and you did it Monday to Friday, for instance, that's £100 a week. And then over the month, that's £400. Well, £400 could have easily gone towards something far more positive than a freaking takeaway because you couldn't bother to cook dinner. And the same with the taxis, you might find people at work once you settle in are going your way because he literally just lives on the way. It'll be easy. And I said, maybe you just give someone a little bit of petrol, like fuel money, to just as a thank you. Solves that problem. So there's little ways around things, but it's like I just wanted to show the success story to that. The fact that he's been in and out, and I always knew he'd do okay one day. He was following me around a lot in terms of like with some of the jobs, like location, and like this job. I was so tempted to apply for it too after I found out how good it is. But it is closed anyway. But to be honest, I recognise he needs his own, not being my shadow. That's his environment. That's where he works. Let him be. Because we've worked together before, but it was always in my shadow a little bit, and I don't think that's fair. He should be living his life. So he's done bloody well with that. Like any of the jobs I find locally are not going to be as high paid as that. So that's quite interesting. I've got I'm one with the experience, and and he's the one that's got a better job that I don't think I'd match. I don't think I can match that. Not in warehouse forklift. That's quite a high rate, and it's a family-run business as well, so they'll look after you. They'll be good. So yeah, he's done bloody well, yeah. And that's again, I'll just share a success story here. He's done well to get that. It's just make it sustain it now. But yeah, I mean, I'm in two worlds at the moment. You know, I'm trying to be creative. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to inspire people to heal and grow. Meanwhile, I've got to look after myself because I've got no one helping me. And so, you know, I'm going to have to go backwards to go forwards. And it's a pain in the ass because you've got to commit to something that you don't even know. So all I can say to anybody at an interview, for instance, say, where do you see yourself in the future? It's like, well, I'm just like, whatever the opportunities comes, you know. I mean, if an opportunity comes here to for bigger positions, then I'll consider it. Then obviously I'm interested in that. And that's all you can do really, because it's not like I'm applying for bigger opportunities in my creative field. It would be a case if someone either invests in me, maybe an opportunity comes, or someone buys my work, you know. So I start getting some rewards from it. Then maybe that changes things, but it's not like I'm going out of my way to apply for things. And that's the only way you really can say it. But I would like a breakthrough at some point. It'd be nice where I'm not having to continue living in the past because that's getting on my nerves, going backwards to go forwards, backwards to go forward. So, like I say, if I keep doing videos on such a regular basis, it's going to keep stop it. It's going to keep making me have every reason not to do my books. And I'm thinking of doing my books back to back now, just because the motivation sometimes wanes when I have time away. So it might be easier just to get these books done. And I keep saying it's 3 books, but it could be 4. And there could even be 5 because there was one I actually did half of, but I'm not thinking about touching it anymore because it's the deal with trauma as my daughter one, and I'm not sure if I want to go near them anymore. But that was half written. Well, you know, if I chose to go near it, there it is. But anyway, it's a lot of work for me to do in a creative capacity, and it's just there's enough videos now. But it was nice to know that I've had a positive contribution on someone, and it's not even just for a little while. You know, it's been a few years. Yeah, like I said, sometimes people don't really tell you, do they? So it's nice to hear something positive for once.